the Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment. The following views are strictly the views of James Hebert and do not represent anybody that works with the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media or is a part of the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media.
Straight from JHebert Studios, James covers the good, the bad, and the ugly, and gives his perspective on things. Now here is your host, James Hebert.
Hello everyone, welcome to another, what will probably be a late JHebert Side. Again, I'm kind of recording these as almost like a diary at this point, because obviously life has changed for me little by little, in good ways and bad. And yeah, here we go with yet another topic that I covered probably ad nauseum at this point, that I didn't think I'd have to go back to, but evidently this would have been after the open mic night of where I cut the scathing promo on the Messi brothers, because I refuse to call them by their ring name because they don't fucking deserve it. But they are known as Nicholas and Matthew on AEW television. Yeah, man. I'm really frustrated with what has been going down with those guys. I've been frustrated in general, with the Twitter twat mentality, as Noah Foster likes to put it, that Tony Khan's kind of been on. I've been over all three of them for a while, and it just feels like that they all are just as much up each other's ass as any one of them are. So I just kind of want to go back to that, and I also kind of want to point out why I still feel the way I feel about CM Punk as well. And we'll tie it all together with Jack Perry as well. Why I'm just sick of all this shit. My stance has not changed much. I mean, and by the way, as I record this, I'm actually just getting over a fucking chest cold. So if I sound under the weather, it's because I am. It's not because I'm upset or anything. It's just because I'm that fucked up. My voice is not really at 100% yet, so hence why you hear me at like such a low octave at this point. But yeah, the main reason I wanted to kind of cover this shit is because it's very frustrating. If you're a fan of wrestling, even in the casual sense, you're reminded almost daily at this point why you just no longer tune into wrestling full time anymore. Because the online discourse and the shit that they do on the weekly television is placated to the fucking online audience. It's not to build a fucking bigger audience anymore. And the shit that does, I mean, it's because they did business right to fucking begin with. Hence what we covered yesterday, The Rock and Cody. We covered that on the JHebert side. By the time you guys see this, this will be out by that point. Now, obviously, a lot of things have changed with that. Obviously, The Rock has gone full heel, and they're doing great things with that, by the way. I'm really looking forward to the direction they take that. Especially with the fact that Punk's out of the equation because of injury. So, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to WrestleMania this year. Probably more so than I have been in years. So there is that. But, yeah. When you don't do it right, man, does it really change the perception of the industry. And it doesn't seem like it stopped. And it definitely has not stopped in AEW. New logo, same old horseshit. I'll give you guys a rundown because I'm not going to show the clip like I normally would because the clip hadn't actually aired yet. This is being recorded 2 days before the open mic night drop. But if you missed it, I shat all over those fuckers for the supposed EVPs who aren't even EVPs anymore anyway. I shat all over them quite simply because I'm over it. I'm over having to see every little segment still to do with that goddamn brawl out or brawl in from the year prior or the year after that. I'm tired of fucking seeing it. And it's literally every segment now. Literally every segment, they cannot get CM Punk's cock out of their mouth. And I'm so tired of seeing it on television. It literally ruins the enjoyment of and the flow of the television. I can't watch it anymore. I can't do it. I'm so over it. And this is why I don't do it. And I have to fucking, anytime I watch an AEW pay-per-view, I literally have to turn my back anytime they're on TV. The only exception I made, as you guys saw, was for Revolution, because that was Sting's last match. And even that, I still had an inkling to pull out. And the only reason I didn't was because I made it evident that I was not going to be watching the TV shows leading up to Revolution, because I knew if I did, I was going to hate every second that the Young Bucks were on my screen, even if it was for a second. And I was gonna even feel the urge to fucking pull out. I just didn't want to feel the urge because I had a commitment to Jeff Meacham and his shit. So I stuck it out. I ended up enjoying what they did. Good for them that they did the right thing one time. Oh my god, a broken clock's right twice a day. Jesus Christ. It doesn't forgive the fucking horse shit that they pulled. And now, because they had success in making people have to fucking suffer through what the fuck, should have been Sting's moment, they had to make it about them as well. Yeah, man. Just the fact that they had to now hitch their wagon from Sting's retirement to the biggest star, the biggest international star that TBS has gotten since the great fucking Muda showed up, infuriates me. You are hindering your drawing power with this guy just by hitching your fucking bullshit I can't get over 2022 fucking nonsense bandwagon to this fucking draw. It's so fucking infuriating to me. It's like we have not learned. You would have thought with the amount of fucking people that tune out of their fucking segments that they would have fucking learned. They don't. And not only do they not do it, and by the way, if you don't fucking believe me, go and look at the fucking WrestleNomics numbers. They are not kind to the Young Bucks. They're not kind to those fuckers. The Messi brothers, anytime they show up on fucking AEW television, they drag down the ratings every single time they're on TV. Hi. So, there's a bit of a change with my stance slightly. Not all the way. However, that is because I made a deal with JJ that I'm going to, at the very least, even though he can't stand them either, I'm going to at least give it to Dynasty. Or give it until Dynasty to see how this Elite and Kazuchika Okada thing goes. So I will sit through one more fucking match. I didn't even want to do that. And I'm going to be real with you, JJ. If you didn't fucking ask me to do it, I wouldn't have at all done it. But this is the last time I'm doing it. If I don't see anything improving in my feelings towards the Bucks, and I feel even any slight urge to turn my fucking back to these pricks, I'm doing it going forward. That said, I think he's right. I think he's fair in his assumption that I should wait until I see how they go about this. I really didn't want to have to, but I'm going to, because I do think it's fair, and I do think, as much as my feelings on the topic on this podcast still stand, things could change between now and then. By the time you guys see this, they may have done a bunch of stuff that I'm not even aware of. I'm actually recording this part of the podcast on the 10th of March. So, things could have been better. Things could have been good with this storyline that I don't know about, at least as of this current time. We'll see what happens. But until then, these are my thoughts, and this is how I feel right now. And I very much doubt that's going to change. But I'll be optimistic, because at the very least, I do want to see Okada. I just wish it didn't have to be at the fucking expense of these goddamn Messy brothers. So, there is that. So there you go. Even if fucking Nielsen doesn't matter as much anymore, there's still plenty of people that have cable that watch the show with their families or in a living room of some fucking kind. So you fucking tell me, right? You tell me why I should not be saying this right now if it's actually true. Go look it up yourself if you don't believe me. WrestleNomics will give you the entire rundown of like the last, year and a half of Young Bucks and their fucking impact of the show, which has been nothing but negative for a while now. And you guys say Chris Jericho is bad when it comes to fucking being a leech. Jesus Christ. Look, I understand Kazuchika Okada. He's actually friends with these guys. I know that their friendship spans back years at this point. That's great. I don't care if it's Okada's idea. I don't care if it's Tony Khan's idea. I don't care if it's anybody's idea. Read the fucking room. Read the room. You gotta be out of your mind to stifle your fucking biggest cash cow that you have gotten since CM Punk fucking left. You've got to be out of your mind to then do irreparable fucking damage, possibly, to Kazuchika fucking Okada. A modern day GOAT in pro wrestling, a modern day master of fucking psychology when it comes to putting together a match, and you are going to fucking screw this guy over before he even gets the fucking boots rolling here. And if it's Okada, then Okada's got nobody to blame but himself. But I highly doubt that this is just on him, and this is probably on Tony Khan and the Messy brothers as well. I guarantee you everybody sat down in the room and was like, yeah, let's do it. But, you don't do that when you have the biggest fucking star attraction to come in since the Great Muta, international-wise anyway, since fucking Muta. You don't do that shit. I don't see the fucking logic in this. And look, maybe I'm in the fucking minority, but I highly fucking doubt that I am, because plenty of fucking people like me have tuned out because of the shit that fucking happened back in September of 2022 and what happened in August of last year. Lots of fucking people tuned the fuck out. Lots of people have turned either casual like myself have, or just stopped watching altogether and moved on with their lives. As they fucking should, to be quite honest with you. And I'll get to that fucking bit in a minute. Jesus Christ, I got some words for a specific fucking YouTuber. I'm gonna be real with you. Again, just to clarify as well, this is just my words and not the fucking views of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse, and Media for that particular portion of the show. But yeah, like, I don't know. I'm looking at this like I want to fucking be optimistic, but I really can't be. And the Messi brothers have shown me that they can't really make anything gold lately. Like, we're at a far cry from where they used to be, because they used to be good. They used to be a draw until they shot themselves in the foot because they could not fucking get over their bullshit, their petty bullshit. And I'm at a point now where I already made one exception for these fucking idiots. And that was because of Sting's last match. I'm no longer making exceptions. They are not getting me to watch their bullshit. Get the fucking hint, Tony Khan. They are go-away heat on television. I told you that as well. And I'll read exactly what I said on Open Mic Night in case people missed it. I highly doubt most people did, but in case you did, I'm gonna read what I said on the video where Okada debuted, because I think it's worth mentioning at this point. And I'm gonna read it verbatim, because quite frankly, this needed to be said to Tony Khan. I'm sure I'm talking to a fucking brick wall at this point. It doesn't really shock me, so do I expect anything to actually be done? Of fucking course not. Why would it? But still doesn't mean I'm not going to voice my displeasure and then move on with my life after the fact, because clearly they don't want me tuning in, so why the fuck do they care about trying to grow their audience or get any of their audience they lost back, right? I wrote, and I quote, "So maybe I'm in the minority, but I really don't think this is smart, Tony. The Young Bucks, I'll use it because I said it in the text. The Young Bucks are go-away heat with a lot of your fans, myself included, and my fandom has died a lot for this company when you constantly shoot yourself in the foot like this. Okada doesn't deserve to be saddled up with the Young Bucks. He is the biggest Japanese addition to a roster on TBS since the Great Muta, and you completely take away his drawing power when you saddle him with your crybaby EVPs who still can't get over Brawl Out from 2022. It's actually absurd that the three of you are all this fucking tone deaf. I know me personally, even if Okada is tagging with them, I'm not watching. The only exception that I made is with Sting, and that was because of his final match. I really don't have the energy to watch any more Crybaby Bucks with Okada involved. And maybe I'm in the minority, but it makes me sad because I used to be a fan of AEW, and you guys being unable to move on from this nonsense from September 2022 and All In 2023 is beyond childish. And I remember there was a time where all three of you listened to the fans. If there was any hint of that left, know this. Ratings don't lie, and the Young Bucks are a ratings disaster in any segment they are in. I have zero desire to tune into any TV show they are in. It's go-away heat anytime they are on screen. This has zero benefits for Okada. Again, your biggest international draw since Great Muta on TBS. I really want to think you'd listen to the fans in this instance. But something tells me You listening to any constructive criticism is long gone at this point. So I'm sure I'm talking to a brick wall. So just know, after big business in Boston, I'm still not watching your product, or I'm still watching your product very rarely, and I refuse to keep my TV on for when the Bucks show up. That pretty much sums up my thoughts. I legit wrote that on their video where Okada debuted. So I just, this isn't a bullshit thing. Like, I'll even show the comment. Like, I don't really give a shit. I know people will think you take this shit too seriously. It's like, yeah. Well, when the fucking sport you loved kind of fucking stabs you in the back because you got fucking idiots who don't know what the fuck they're doing and don't know how to put their personal bullshit aside to actually do proper business, yeah, you'd be pissed off too. So, just so you know, there's my fucking comment. It's right there, just in case people were fucking curious if I actually left that. Now you know. I know sometimes I actually gotta put that out there because some people, don't show their sources or cite their fucking work that they supposedly did. But, I did. So there you go. Yeah, it really just kind of got me thinking that this needed to be said. And the more I realized it, by the way, the more I didn't regret what I said, because it's comments like that feel like they just fall on deaf ears. And I'm telling you, you people think I'm kidding, but like Sting's last few months in AEW television got dragged down because of who they last feuded with. And that was the Bucks. They got dragged down from, and they barely were featured in any segments involving them. Now, if they were by themselves cutting a promo on the Bucks, then they were all set. That's great and everything. But, fuck me. That wasn't the case going forward. And it's really kind of a shame, because Sting should have had a bigger audience, and he didn't. And I think a lot of people are like so hung up about how great Revolution was, and don't get me wrong, it was a perfect show. I'll even go and say that outright. It was a great fucking show. Again, they shot themselves in the foot the fucking next Dynamite. Of course they did. New logo and everything, same old brain damage. Let's go. But it still doesn't change the fucking fact of, like, they fucked up again with Sting. And you want to pretend like they didn't, but the Young Bucks should have never, ever been their final opponents. They really shouldn't have been. The only reason they were is because Sting was okay with working with them, because he's selfless in that regard. And he ain't trying to fucking cause bullshit riffs. And because the Young Bucks wanted to be in that spot. The Messy Brothers wanted to be on television and wanted to force the fans' hand in having to fucking tune into their shit, because otherwise they couldn't see Sting's final match. Plenty of people still tuned out anyway. Until the fucking pay-per-view, when they were going to see Sting's final match. Which, by the way, the Messy Brothers, they were not going to fucking draw that house. Sting did. Single-handedly. So, that's the fucking biggest gate they've had since All In, right? Since All In Wembley. It's like the biggest sold-out gate they've had. I think that was a sellout show, if I'm not mistaken. That's been the first time in, like, what, months that they've had a fucking sellout show? I mean, they fucking had the United Center all out. It was fucking half empty. So what does that tell you? Anyway. We're gonna go into another fucking topic. and why I think this is important to fucking discuss. And the whole reason I even discussed it on Open Mic Night, and why I'm discussing it here, very much relates to another Warner's property that just got the fucking axe. And if you people aren't paying attention to this, newsflash, you fucking should be. I literally said that this could happen last week. We saw it already happen with TNA. And they are not the same sits. They are never going to be at that fucking level now. Because they got rid of the guy that could have taken them to the next level. Because they didn't want to give them the money that they are owed and deserved. Because they don't like that fucking wrestling draws. It could be the pettiest fucking reasons ever. Doesn't change the fucking facts. So, with that said, let's get into this video because I think it really, really needs to be put into perspective here. And if you people don't think that this is a legitimate concern, seriously pay attention to what's said here. Because it's bad. It's bad when you hear stuff like this.
Today I've got the black shirt on for this funeral service for one of YouTube's first major content teams, Rooster Teeth. After 21 years, Warner Bros. Discovery has announced that it's shutting down Rooster Teeth. Now, they're not getting...
Warner Brothers Discovery shutting down Rooster Teeth. For those who may not be in the gaming scene, Rooster Teeth has been around for time. They were responsible for Red vs. Blue, Ruby, Death Battle has joined the fucking ranks. They're responsible for a lot of channels on YouTube. Gone like that. Which is causing a lot of fucking channels that were partnered up with Rooster Teeth to now try and scramble to go independent and get the fucking rights back from Warner Brothers Discovery. If you think that this can't happen to AEW, you're freaking mental. I'm going to let Charlie explain the rest of Rooster Teeth. I'm not going to go into full depth with this. If you are curious enough about Rooster Teeth shutting down, you could check the video out yourself when you get a minute. But I'm just going to go right up to probably about the 340 mark.
Outright euthanized and going to the Shadow Realm or anything, because there are certain Rooster Teeth projects that will persist past this, but by and large, Rooster Teeth, as you've known them, will cease to operate in the capacity that it has been. With its closure, about 150 full-time employees will be laid off, with additional contractors and content creators taking a huge hit as well. Wishing the employees the best moving forward. I hope they find work elsewhere. Just a pretty sad set of circumstances all around, because I know a lot of people, myself included, have very fond memories of this brand. Rooster Teeth was one of the pillars of internet content creation for gaming for a long time. With series like Red vs. Blue, which were these incredible machinimas that really kind of changed the space for a while and had an unbelievable influence online. I still remember being this soiled diaper baby boy toddler, still drinking milk and having nightmares about cursive handwriting, going into GameStop and seeing a Red vs. Blue DVD for sale there. And I couldn't believe it. My fucking mind exploded out of my ears because I knew it from the internet. And at the time, the internet to me was still this mysterious dimension where, you know, Timmy Turner floats around in the cyberspace on an email. But now I was seeing this piece of internet content I was familiar with in the real world, the corporeal dimension, and I thought it was the coolest shit ever. And it still is extremely impressive what they were able to do, and for so long as well. Achievement Hunter, another absolute colossal success in the gaming space online. Rooster Teeth was just the gold standard for gaming related content for so long, absolutely crushing it, and it is pretty tragic to see how this story played out for Rooster Teeth in the more recent years. Now, Warner Bros. Has been on this absolute warpath, just leaving mangled corpses in their wake where they're just fucking frying everything they own. And it looks like Rooster Teeth is going to be joining Coyote vs. Acme in their dumpster out back. But
right there. going to replay that one sentence, and I want people to really listen to what the fuck Charlie says here.
In their wake, where they're just fucking frying everything they own, and corpses in their wake. Now, Warner Bros. Has been on this absolute warpath, just leaving mangled corpses in their wake, where they're just fucking frying everything they own. And it looks like Rooster Teeth is going to be joining Coyote vs. Acme in their dumpster out back.
But AEW doesn't have problems. If Rooster Teeth has problems, and by the way, they were still generating decent viewership. A lot better than AEW's ratings. Granted, 2 different fucking platforms. Still, my point stands. We're going to get into the ratings they were getting into a little bit, but if Rooster Teeth and Coyote got fucking axed by Warner Brothers Discovery, and this ain't even the first time Warner Brothers has just axed projects, like, the Titan series that was doing pretty decent for them, they axed because it wasn't getting the viewership they fucking thought it should have gotten. So they axed it. They didn't even continue with the project. This ain't the first time Warner Brothers has just completely fucking stopped cold turkey on a project. Like, and for people to think that this will not happen to AEW and they won't have to fucking shop around for a better network or even a subpar network like TNA did, you are out of your fucking mind. You're out of your fucking mind. I'll let Charlie continue here.
But unlike Coyote vs. Acme, this one I think a lot of people expected. I just don't think anyone was jump scared by this news. Yes, Warner Bros.' recent business strategy appears to just be friendly fire out the wazoo. It seems like they're operating under the assumption of, if we own nothing, surely we can't continue to lose money. But them axing Rooster Teeth and putting them in the Warner Bros. Cemetery, burying them out back, is not shocking. For the last, 5 or so years, Rooster Teeth has been really treading water. They've been struggling, and they've got no water wingies to help them. Social Blade only goes as far back as 2021, but you can already see that their views had stagnated and often would decline. Before this, they were an absolute juggernaut in the scene. So starting in 2021, they were averaging between 8 to 10 million views a month, whereas in their heyday, in their prime, they were pulling in tens of millions of views per month and tens of thousands of subscribers per month.
Right there. I'm going to end it there. You can watch the rest of it. I just wanted to kind of put that in perspective. So Rooster Teeth, which was another Warner's property, right? As Charlie stated, they were getting millions of views in their heyday, tens of millions. They were still getting 8 to 10 million in 2021, which wasn't that too long ago. It was 2 years ago. I'd imagine that's still kind of the case now. That's still being the case, right? So they were still getting decent viewership. Still wasn't up to their par. And they got the fucking axe. You want to fucking pretend that Warner Brothers Discovery isn't bipolar, Tony? Go right ahead. See how well that works out for you. See how well that worked out for Dixie Carter. When she lost the Spike TV deal. And Spike wanted nothing to do with wrestling because she went behind their back and hired Russo back. Go ahead and pretend that Warner Brothers Discovery doesn't have a bipolar relationship with other companies. And that you guys are safe space. Because you have network titles named after them. Go right ahead. Go ahead and live in your fucking fantasy land with the fucking Messy Brothers and tell me how well that's going to work out for you. Please go ahead, bro. Because, you are out of your fucking mind if you don't think that what happened to Rooster Teeth can't fucking happen to you. And Rooster Teeth was getting far better fucking viewership numbers and averages than you guys are right now at their fucking low point. And I dare you to fucking fight me on that. I dare you. Don't fucking tell me I'm wrong on this, because you know I'm not. This is a concern. I've told you all this has been a fucking concern when I did JHebert Side of Things. What the fuck was it when I fucking covered this? It's on my fucking page, and I'm still going to keep it on my page because it still rings true. Fucking 5 months ago, and it was... What episode? Episode 6. I did episode 6. 5 fucking months ago. Probably 6 by the time this comes out, if not sooner. Maybe 5.5 months ago. And you're telling me that this isn't a concern. What's fucking hilarious to me is that these fucking fans... excuse me. These fucking fans are gonna just pretend like, I didn't see this coming. Tony Khan said everything seems so good. Because nobody fucking bothers to see the fucking bigger picture. Like, you had your biggest stars leave and go to the competition. And you couldn't even make up half of that with stars you got from their end. And in fact, you may have damaged your fucking credibility and theirs as well. And their drawing power as well. You may be able to make a fucking argument for fucking Edge. And he's kind of kept the fucking ratings at a level state a little bit. But that's because he's not saddled with the fucking EVP crybabies. Like fucking Okada's doing right now. This is why I say this shit. Because for people to fucking tell me that this shit cannot fucking happen is naively fucking absurd. It's terrifying. It's actually terrifying. That you were this fucking ignorant that this would not fucking happen. And I'm sorry if that makes me sound like an asshole. Go right ahead and tell me as such if I am. I don't really care. It ain't the fucking first time. But sometimes the truth hurts, right? That's old Phil Brooks' famous fucking saying. Sometimes the truth is painful, right? And let's be fucking honest, it is. But sometimes you gotta fucking swallow that truth pill at some point. Notice that we have not gotten a fucking announcement for a Forbidden Door either, by the way. I find that fucking interesting. So not only did they just sign fucking the biggest star of New Japan Pro Wrestling in Okada, they're not even working with New Japan as far as we know anymore. I find that interesting. But, hey, who knows? We'll see what the fuck happens after Dynasty. I'm not really getting my hopes up anymore, because Tony has become such a fucking crybaby bitch that he doesn't seem to want to fucking partner up with anybody that's giving him legitimate criticism, so... What do I know? I'm a jaded wrestling fan, though, right? I'm too serious about this shit. Well, maybe sometimes people aren't serious about this shit enough. I think I noticed my fucking comment got deleted, by the way, because I'm trying to look for it, and, ironically enough, the motherfucker deleted it. Well, that's great, guy, but, this is my channel, so you're gonna fucking have to hear my criticism whether you like it or not. We're gonna go over to Tranquilo Club, because I'm gonna fucking play a absurd fucking nonsense statement that he fucking said in his, Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm not even on the right video. That's my fault. Yeah, there it is. There's the right video. All right. Give me a second.
We are more than...
All right. So, we're going to talk about the... We're going to go and right to this fucking quote. Now, this is from a video. If you want to check this video out, it's from Tranquilo Club if you want to listen to his full thoughts. I'm not really going to go to his full thoughts here. But I'm going to go to this quote because this really fucking irks me and grinds my fucking gears. It really does. It's like I should expect something different after so long. But at the same time, it's pro wrestling. So why would I expect anything different? I swear to God, it's like fucking Groundhog's Day with these people. Let's get it over with. This is the fucking nonsense quote this fucking guy said.
Time bomb. They clearly played into his divisive nature with all the fake work shoot stuff with Rollins during his debut. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But when it comes to Punk's time in AEW, it'll always be one of the biggest what ifs in wrestling. But we can't dwell on it now. Things happened the way they did because these people are who they are. To wish that things had gone differently would be to wish these people weren't themselves.
What a fucking cop-out comment. Fuck you for that one, Tranquilo Club. Fuck you for that one. I'm gonna explain why. I'm gonna read my fucking comment that I quoted, by the way. And then I'm gonna play the rest of the fucking video, by the way, because it's so absurd that you say that, and then you say what you say right after, which makes you even more tone deaf. It actually makes you even more tone deaf. I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm pissed off. It's because I fucking am. Because it feels like nothing fucking changes with these people. Nothing changes in the IWC. Nothing. Things happen the way they happen because these people are the way they are. To wish things had gone differently would be to wish these people weren't themselves. That quote was at 5:42. I think that's when the quote started. My reply to that, and by the way, just so you know, I actually wrote this comment, and I'm not bullshitting you. Screen grab it if you want. No. Straight up, I'm saying no to this. I'm sorry, bro, but this is such a this is such a horseshit statement. Sorry. Didn't even use bullshit. I used horseshit. This is such a horseshit statement and such a horrible take. You can be yourself and still be professional. Benoit and Sullivan did it. Matt Hardy and Adam Copeland did it. Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair did it. That's a terrible take outright. I'm really not trying to be that guy, but that's a poor excuse to excuse childish and bullshit behavior from all involved. The Bucks, Punk, Perry, all surrounding the situation, who picked one side or the other, made a mockery of this business, and it caused a lot of people to tune out and or watch casually like myself. I'll take a quote from Joe Rogan that completely trumps your bullshit quote here. And I'm not even that much of a fan of Joe, but this quote rings true here. The latter half of this is paraphrased, but he says, "You don't need to be happy, you need discipline sometimes. I've done shit I don't like before, and I did it because it was for the betterment of my life and others at the time." End quote. There is no chance you're going to go and tell me to wish things were different because they can't be themselves, and then expect me to take that lightly. Fuck off with that shit. And by the way, I mean every word I fucking say, and I don't fucking apologize for it. If you got a fucking problem, say it to my face. You can easily add me on Discord. I don't take back what I said. I mean every word of it. And I'm not going to fucking waver on it either. Otherwise, we'll go our separate ways. You can do whatever. I also added, and just to clarify, big whoop. So now Punk's gone to the company that has 50,000 moral issues and business problems with it. Still. Just so he can stick it to the Bucks on how to do business. Which is all it is, by the way. Like, the whole reason he even went to WWE in the first place, literally, and by the way, people said this wasn't going to happen. It did, and I was proven right again. His feud with Rollins was a freaking huge example of that. So, Rollins is playing the role of the Messi brothers, and Shawn Michaels is playing the role of Nick Hausman. Stop me when I'm telling lies. That's exactly what fucking happened. Again, just so we could stick it to the Bucks on how to do business. Just to stick it to the Messi brothers on how to do business. Meanwhile, the Bucks can't stop booking every segment like Brawl Out and Brawlin' now. and Jack Perry is a scapegoat in Japan now. Literally, the 3 biggest companies are placated with this drama now, as opposed to just one. And you're telling me that's a good thing? That's a no for me, dog. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, nobody seems to understand what I've been saying for months now, if not years now. It feels like it's been months, but it's actually been years, I think. People tune in to a fictional, scripted show to escape bullshit in life. They do not want to be reminded of the bullshit that goes on in everyday life that is constantly riddled with bullshit and nonsense. This is fucking painstaking at this point. And the problem is, every company has this fucking problem now. And the only company that doesn't have this problem in TNA has a whole different problem in fucking management still being a dickhead. And firing the guy that was actually giving them any steam. So, like... It seems like everything I fucking said 6 months ago, like, rings true. Which is a goddamn shame. Like, then again, should I really be surprised? It's like fucking Groundhog's Day. Let's talk about what he says here. And I really want to fucking talk about this, because after he says that bullshit quote, after Tranquilo Club says that bullshit quote, then he says this right after.
Signing of Will Ospreay, but at this point I feel like I'm the grumpy old man who will never be happy. And I know that must be disheartening to hear for a lot of you who have been here since the beginning, since back when I started this channel during the pandemic. But I never started this channel to be the guy who praised everything AEW did. It just so happens that back then I was actually enjoying everything they were doing. Remember that this is just an opinion channel and that nothing I say is definitive. If you enjoy AEW and it brings you joy, then I'm happy that you're feeling what I did from 2019 to 2021. I sometimes wish I didn't have to view wrestling as almost like a job these days. This channel changed everything about how I watch and approach wrestling, for better or for worse. At this point, I'm just continuing to make videos because I've cultivated one of the coolest communities here on this channel. Thanks guys for keeping me going. We'll never agree on everything, but what I think we could all agree on is this. There are bigger things in life than wrestling. But at its best, wrestling is better than the things you like. Take care, everyone.
You right away completely undo the fucking statement you just made. And I mean almost instantly. Almost instantly you undo your statement. If you take the two statements completely out of each other, they're both good points. Except when you placate one fucking point right after the other. Then it makes zero sense. Like, you go and say you're a grumpy old man because wrestling, because AEW isn't what it used to be, and I'm trying to fucking be happy about it and whatever, and you're not, and you feel like you're the grumpy old man that's never going to be happy. And in the same fucking video you say, things happen the way they happen because people are the way they are. To wish things have gone differently were to be the wish these people weren't themselves. I mean, you want to fucking talk about an oxymoron here. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Right away, you contradicted yourself. So, you're saying that, to wish anything else means that they can't be themselves. But yet you're saying that you're not tuning into AEW, and you literally said it in this video. I didn't play this fucking part of the clip, but you literally said in this video, hey man, I don't like what they're doing, and I think half of the fucking problem is the way they're acting management-wise. Well, no shit. So maybe that quote was kind of dumb, huh? Like, I'm sorry to be that guy, but it doesn't make any goddamn sense. It makes zero sense. And then I'm sure there's, like, stupid comments. Like, you know, that agreed with this. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It seemed very wish-washy. Like, honestly, just take a fucking break. And I wish more people would fucking do it. Stop being fucking held to the almighty dollar. That's the fucking problem. Like, the reason wrestling is even afloat is because the fans and the hardcores constantly bitch and complain about everything, yet they still tune in and watch every week. I don't pay money in this fucking product. I don't pay money in the fucking industry. I don't watch everything on a consistent basis. And I got a fucking life outside of wrestling now, which I'd like to actually maintain and keep. So that way I could keep my fucking sanity. Right? So, that's why I fucked off. And that's why you don't see me nearly as much on open mic night. It's because of bullshit like this. If it wasn't like this, chances are I'd be watching wrestling a lot more often than I do. But that would be apparently to wish these things didn't happen is apparently to wish things people weren't being themselves. So therefore must excuse childish behavior because then they are not themselves. Meanwhile, your fucking product is suffering because they are being themselves, which is childish fucking marks. I'm just so fucking tired of it. I'm so fucking tired of it. This is why I don't tune in anymore. This is why I don't tune in. I'm gonna read another comment that I wrote on an OSW review, which they actually responded to, because I think there's a lot of people in that era or in that area that feel the fucking same way that I do. And it was from their AEW All Out Chicago review. And literally, exactly, this sums it up perfectly. There you go, OSW review replied. I said, I'm over it. Fuck Punk, fuck the Bucks, fuck Perry, fuck Page. Although Page has changed because I found out that he actually wanted to do business with Punk, so my tunes actually changed on him. Drastically, actually. So good on him. But I know that's such a harsh take, but literally anything they have going forward is going to have some fucking take on this nonsense that happened in AEW, and I'm just done with all of them at this point. Legit, I won't even cover any of their matches now because seeing them is full-on go-away heat with me. And OSW says that's really fair enough. The endless drama, if it's not coming from anti-AEW ex-bookers or their fans, it's coming from the wrestlers themselves. It's just such a horrible online atmosphere. This is from OSW, by the way. OSW says this. It's just a horrible online atmosphere. And it's draining. It's why I watch wrestling with family and the GF. It's much more pleasant. I assume that was from V1, by the way. Oh, no, that wasn't from V1. V1's the fucking dude with the deep voice. Jay Hunter. I think it was Jay Hunter that runs the channel mainly. But Jay Hunter replied. I think that was Jay Hunter anyway. I replied with, yeah, exactly what I'm doing nowadays, to be honest. Just picking and choosing and doing it that way. I'm also calling the action for what I do with No DQ and Jeff Meacham. So there is that, and it's usually pretty fun. And they allow me to skip out on no longer Hangman, but Bucks matches for a visual gag that is funnier than shit, especially when we do simulcast. I do the ECW one night stand method and shit. And for those who don't know and don't tune into the watch-alongs, but most people do by this point, I turn my back anytime they're on. So there is that. I just wanted to read that comment because I think it really kind of encapsulates how I feel about the whole thing. And, like, the thing is, WWE is in a good standing, at least for right now, but they got their own issues placating them right now. At the end of the day, they got the whole Vince McMahon scandal going on. And if more stuff comes out about that and more parties are involved in that situation, and situations similar to it, that company is going to go downhill fucking fast. And that includes TKO, by the way. That includes TKO. That's going to be a really tough pill to fucking come back from, and I hope it doesn't do any more damage than it already has done, or that it has the potential to do, because they got a Netflix deal right now, but if this shit goes the way it goes any further and it gets any worse, they could lose out on that. And I think, again, goes back to what I just said about Rooster Teeth. If Rooster Teeth can get axed by Warner Brothers Discovery, you don't think that fucking Netflix is paying attention to what the hell's going on in WWE land behind the scenes and not really looking at this Vince McMahon case with a fine-tooth comb and being like, if anybody that's currently in the company is still with the company and they happen to be involved in this, we're pulling the fuck out. I'll tell you right now, it already happened with the NWA when they were supposed to be on the CW. They were supposed to be on the CW network. They're now only on the app. So they have drastically downgraded. Talk about a fucking fall from grace for them. If it can happen to them, it can happen to the WWE. I don't care how big or small you are. So they got their own issues there. And then AEW really is the one that's really getting the worst shit because their own EVPs won't get the situation out of their fucking mouths, really. And I'm sure when Punk comes back to the WWE, he'll do the same thing. That will be a fucking nightmare, really. The only breath of fresh air, really, was Punk and Cody. And even that was like a short fucking stint. So that was at least decent until he got injured, but again, it was like one of those things where I had to kind of watch because I wanted to see if Cody won the Rumble. Otherwise, I wouldn't have given a shit. And now Punk is out of commission, so he's most likely going to be the host of WrestleMania. I'm going to turn my back like I do with him on the Bucks. I don't even want to give him the fucking opportunity to get a dig at, or to have a segment that's essentially digging at the Bucks somehow. And literally, like, every shot in his Rollins feud was, like, placating to what the fuck happened in AEW. Same thing with Jack Perry. I couldn't care less. I have not watched a single thing of New Japan anyway. But Jack Perry ripping up his AEW contracts, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back with me. I'm just done with his ass. I mean, dude, at this point, get out of the fucking wrestling business. You're probably you are the scapegoat. Quite honestly. You really are. I mean, I have no fucking respect for what the fuck happened there. Yeah, man. That's the lesson. That's the moral of the fucking story of this podcast. If you think you're fucking too big to fail, if you think a company is too big to fail, you are so out of touch of reality, it's actually absurd. It's actually absurd. That's not how real life works. It's never going to be how real life works. Plenty of companies, including Rooster Teeth, as we saw, are going down. And you pretending that that's not what's happening is not helping matters. And you just kind of turning a blind eye and saying, Oh, it is what it is. Which is funny because that's a saying I always used to fucking say. Jesus Christ. It is what it is. No, it's not it is what it is. Oh, let them be themselves because they have to be themselves. To wish things went different means that they can't be themselves. Horse shit. It's called professionalism. You could still hate somebody and work with them professionally. Plenty of people have done it in the industry. Plenty of people, I would hope, would still do it in the industry. In fact, they have done it in the industry. Britt Baker, who had her situation with Thunder Rosa years ago now by this point. Her and Thunder Rosa have made nice now, and they've made up. They have no quarrel or issues with each other. They have no issues. Please explain to me why Britt fucking Baker has a better fucking show of leadership than your supposed EVPs. And then tell me the fucking quote that Tranquilo Cub fucking said. To wish things went better is to wish they weren't themselves. Well, the funny thing about that, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa are still themselves. And they still had some professionalism to make up. Or at the very least, work together in the same fucking environment. Oh, and by the way, we're not even talking about the fact that Britt Baker has stepped the fuck away, even though she really didn't have to. Because she has more than made up for the nonsense she did with Thunder Rosa. So please tell me how Britt Baker, who really shouldn't be off TV at this point, because they need all the women they can get in that division, right? Britt Baker stepped away because of a lot of fan complaints for a while now. Stepped away and said, you know what? If they want me to step away, I'll give them what they want. I'll let them miss me when they want to miss me. She left. And you're telling me the Young Bucks can't do the same thing? How the fuck can we miss you if you won't go away? You still won't stop talking about this shit. And by the way, don't give me this fucking bullshit. Well, they did go away. They went away in between, Wrestle Dream and when they came back. It's like, it's not a fucking break. And by the way, it wasn't long enough of a fucking break. Because they just came right back and talked about this bullshit that happened in September. If anything, they got more unbearable because of it. That's the moral of the fucking story. If you think a company is too big to fail, you are in a fucking fantasy land. These complaints are there for a reason. You ignoring it because you think everything is hunky-dory and pretending everything is fucking great is complete horseshit. Especially with a company like Warner Brothers Discovery that is axing companies left, right, and center from their portfolio. And if you think AEW is completely immune to that, oh boy, you are out of touch reality. It's terrifying. If you like what you heard today, give it a like, give it a thumbs up. If you want to check out more of what I said on the Open Mic Night edition, you could check that out. I'll put a link here, and actually, I forgot I had an outro screen for this. If you want to check out, god damn, that was already wicked loud. If you want to check out what I said on the Open Mic Night broadcast of this, you could check that out here. So, pointing right here, go and check it out here. If you want to check out my latest episode, which was covering the TNA debacle and a bunch of other shit, you check out this episode of the JHebert Side of Things here. Yeah. Just kind of randomly doing these things whenever I get a chance. But yeah. I'm going to be going back to working on my uncle's documentary now. And also trying to recover from this chest cold. So I'm going to go do that. Until next time, we'll see you guys on the JHebert side. Peace out.